Jai Sri Ram. After the successful conclusion of his yajna, Vishwamitra proceeded towards King Janaka's palace in Mithila, along with Sri Rama and Lakshmana. On the way, sage Vishwamitra took them to Gautama Muni's ashram. The Muni's wife Ahalya had been cursed by the seer due to her flirting with Indra, who had disguised himself as the real seer and cheated her. The Muni's curse was that until Rama visited her and touched her, thousands of years later, he would lie on the ashes unperceived by all created beings, without food or drink, living on air alone. Rama and Lakshmana, as ordained, saw her and clasped her feet. Raghavodu tata tasyaha pado jagruhadur muda. Freed from the curse and regaining her pristine form and grandeur, Ahalya was taken back by Gautama Muni as per his word. It is necessary to refer here to the generally perceived version that Ahalya was turned into a stone due to the Muni's curse, and when Sri Rama placed his foot on that stone, she was freed from the curse and regained the original form. But as seen above in Valmiki Ramayana, Rama and Lakshmana saw her and clasped her feet, not set the foot on the stone. Now, in Mithila, King Janaka had princes from all over assembled for her to choose the one who will twang the Pashupatastra, the divine bow gifted by Lord Shiva to Janaka's ancestor Devaratha. Sita was found in the plough and thus got the name Sita, a manifestation of Sri Lakshmi, while the king was ploughing the earth. Several kings and princes, despite their prowess, could not even move the divine bow a bit. Such was the heaviness of the bow kept in a strong iron case that it had to be carried by 5,000 well-built tall courtesans. It did not take any effort for Sri Rama to lift and twang it, and whereby it was broken, much to the joy of celestial beings and all those at Janaka's praise. Janaka was overjoyed and duly handed over Sita's consort of Sri Rama. King Dasharatha and family were King Janaka and family were earlier escorted to Mithila. Janaka handed over Sita to Sri Rama, reciting the following: Iyam Sita mama sutta saka dharmachari tava pradichache nam bhadram te paning grihishva panina padivrata mahabhaga chaye vanu gada sada. Hereby do I hand over this daughter of mine as your Dharma Patni protect her holding her hands. She will ever remain faithful and truthful to you and follow you like a shadow. Sages Vishwamitra, Vasishtha, and priest Sadananda, son of sage Gautama, the family priest of King Janaka, they were all present on the occasion. Lakshmana was married to Urmila, another daughter of King Janaka. Bharata was married to Mandavi and Shatrughna to Srutakirti, these later two being daughters of Janaka's brother Kushadwaja. There is a background to Sita being found in the plowshare. Sita was in an earlier birth Vedavadi, the one who had mastered the Vedas, or an incarnation of Vedas. She was the daughter of Brahmashri Kushadwaja, son of Brihaspati, the preceptor of gods. He had wanted her to be Srimad Narayana's consort. He was killed one night by the Rakshasa's chief Shambhu for refusal to give his daughter in marriage to the ogre. The Rishi's wife, holding his dead body, entered the pyre and ended her life. Vedavati was ever since in austere penance, thinking only of Srimad Narayana. Once, when Vedavati had lost her parents and was alone in the forest observing austerities and was fully focused on Lord Vishnu, whom she desired to be her consort, she was accosted by Ravana, the king of ogres. Despite her paying him due honors and telling him of her devotedness to Lord Vishnu, Ravana dared to seize her by pulling her matchlock Jada. Vedavati cut off that hair herself and cursed Ravana, saying that she would be born again, but as Ayonija. Ayonija meaning not born out of womb, to a pious person and be the cause of his death. Vedavati in Krita Yuga became Sita in Treta Yuga. So saying, Vedavati consigned herself to the fire. It was thus that she took birth as Sita and was brought up by King Janaka, who was third in the line of Janakas. Now a peep into Janaka's previous birth. Janaka was the rebirth of King Nimi. King Nimi was to perform a yajna with sage Vasishtha as officiating priest. But the latter could arrive only after performing a yajna for Indra due to prior commitment. The king went ahead with the help of other priests, and this caused sage Vasishtha to curse King Nimi to shed his mortal body. The royal sage too in turn hurled a similar curse, and sage Vasishtha too had to shed his body, and King Nimi too had to shed his mortal body due to the mutual curse. Now, Nimi's soul was assigned a place in the eyelids. Nimisha, the batting of eyelids, by the gods. As for sage Vasishtha, he was reborn as a son of Mitra and Varuna through the celestial nymph Urvashi. Preceding him was born Agastya from the same picture that had the vital energy from both Mitra and Varuna. The priests embalmed the King Nimi's body, and for the sake of a ruler, they churned the body from which sprang a son to the departed king. By virtue of his extraordinary birth, or for the reason of his becoming a progenitor of a new line of Kshatriya kings, the prince was called Janaka. The king also came to be known as Vaideha, the one without a body. Born of the friction in the churning, he was Mithi, and his dynasty was called Mithila. In the line of Janaka kings was born Kshiradwaja, who, while ploughing the earth to make a sacrificial pit, found Sita in the plowshare. He came to be called Kshiradwaja as Sita was found on his plough. His younger brother was Kushadwaja. Thus both sage Vasishtha and King Nimi, who had cursed each other in their last birth, were reborn as Janaka, the name for a new line of kings, and Vasishtha. Sita also got the name Vaidehi and Janaki. Vasishtha became Kumbhodbhava. Also, it may be mentioned that Agastya too had become Kumbhodbhava, born out of a pitcher in similar circumstances. When, after the marriage, Dasharatha and family were returning to Ayodhya, they came to face with the awe-inspiring Parashurama, who had caused extermination of Kshatriyas 21 times. King Dasharatha, for a moment, felt scary. Parashurama had heard of Rama's prowess in having lifted and even broken the divine bow at Mithila. That bow was part of Lord Shiva's gift to Devarata in the line of Nimi. Parashurama wanted to test Rama's ability to lift the divine bow of Lord Vishnu that he had been gifted to sage Richika, and thereby came into the hands of Parashurama from father Jamadagni. Sri Rama not only lifted it but stretched the string to its maximum and held the divine arrow that could not be withdrawn. A subdued Parashurama accepted the supremacy of Rama and retired to Mahendra mountains, where that arrow landed as his target. As Rama had said that once mounted, he cannot take back the arrow, so it had to be sent to a target. Now, Vishwamitra, shedding all thoughts of vengeance towards Kshatriyas and their lineage, retired to the Mahendra mountains, where he is said to be in meditation even today. The flow of two divine bows created by Vishwakarma for Lord Shiva and Lord Vishnu may be summed up here. Lord Shiva's bow made powerless in a combat by Lord Vishnu. Lord Shiva's bow was gifted to Devarata, who gifted it to Janaka, and now came to Sri Rama, avatar of Lord Vishnu. Lord Vishnu's bow, gifted to Richika, scion of Bhrigu, was gifted to Jamadagni, in turn gifted to Parashurama, and now came to Sri Rama, Lord Vishnu. Sri Rama Jayam, Jai Sri Rama.